two vectors have a resultant equal to either of the two. The angle between them is. So if you add two vectors and the resultant length of the resultant is also equal to the two of them, length of those two vectors. So can you think of such a condition? See, we can solve it using formula, no question, no issues. See, if I draw an equilateral triangle, so this is my first vector, this is the second vector. How much would be resultant of these two? How much would be resultant of these two? So use your triangle law. Okay, so this is suppose my A bar, this is my B bar. Okay, so A bar plus B bar will give me what? This C bar. Okay, this C bar. So the length, the magnitude of this resultant is equal to magnitude of A bar, or it is equal to magnitude of B bar, right? So this must be the case. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so how much is angle between A bar and B bar?
Sir, 60.
Okay, so in an equilateral triangle, the angle between two sides, it is 60 degrees. That's correct. But here A bar is directed like this. Okay, so this line and this line, how much is the angle between these two?
120.
It is 120 degrees. Right, Sanjay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so angle between these two is 120 degrees. And using formula also we can solve this. So what are they saying? So we are adding A bar and B bar. So magnitude of A bar is equal to magnitude of B bar. So what is magnitude of resultant? R bar is equal to what? A bar plus B bar. So R is equal to square root of A square plus B square plus 2 times AB cos theta. Okay. So how much is R? It's equal to A or it is equal to B. I will take it's equal to A. Okay. So A is equal to square root of this thing. So I will square everything. So A square I get, it is equal to A square plus A square plus what? 2 times A multiplied by cos theta. Okay, because B is equal to A. So I have substituted A in place of B, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this and this gets cancelled. So you can take 2A square cos theta on left hand side. It will become negative. So minus 2A square cos theta is equal to A square, and therefore A square and A square gets cancelled out, and you get cos theta equals to minus 1 by 2. Okay, so cos 60 we know it is 1 by 2. So how much must be the theta? It must be 180 minus 60 degrees, right? So it is 120 degrees,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these are simple problems. Okay, next one. Okay, which of the following is not a vector quantity? Tell me, which one of these is not a vector quantity? Weight, momentum, potential energy, nuclear spin. Which one?
Nuclear spin.
No, potential energy is the answer. Energy is a scalar, right? Energy is a scalar quantity. Okay, spin is a vector quantity.
Okay, sir.
Okay, which of the following statements is true? When the coordinate axis are translated, the components of a vector in a plane change. When coordinate axes are rotated through some angle, the components of vector change, but I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. All right. So, which of the following statements is true? When the coordinate axes are translated, the components of vectors in a plane change. Then, when the coordinate axes are rotated through some angle, the components of vector change, but vector's magnitude remains constant. Then, sum of a bar and b bar is r bar. If the magnitude of a bar alone is increased, the angle between b bar and r bar decreases. Okay, and the last one is the cross product of 3 I cap and 4 j cap is 12. So we didn't learn about the cross product yet, but okay. So can you tell me?
Sir, when the coordinate axes are rotated, the angle changes. Sir. The magnitude remains constant. That is correct, sir, because
Exactly,
vector's length will be same anyway.
exactly. That is the answer. Okay, good. So see, suppose this is your vector, okay, and these are your coordinate axes, okay, x and y. They are like this. Okay, so if you rotate them, see, I have rotated x and y. So earlier they were like this, perpendicular. Now, okay, earlier x was horizontal, y is what? Vertical. Now I'm rotating. So is there any change in length of this vector?
No, sir.
No.
No. So length of the vector remains same, magnitude remains same. Okay. So answer is option B. Okay. So other three, do you want to check? Yes, no. When the coordinate axes are translated, the components of vector in a plane change. So see, this is my x and y. If I translate them, if I move them like this, okay, this is translatory motion. Okay, so will the components of this vector change? Are you getting?
No, sir.
No. Okay, there won't be any change in the components, right? If you rotate, then components will change. Okay, if you rotate, then components will change. We can see that. Okay, so this is your x and y axis, and suppose this is your vector. Okay, it's like this. So now you can draw the components. Okay, so let's suppose these are the axes. You can draw the components. So this one will be your x component, this one will be y component. Okay, x and y. Now you rotate x and y through some angle. Okay, so let's suppose you rotate x and y with an angle theta. Okay, so this is your new y, this is your new x. Okay, so x prime, y prime. You are rotating them with an angle theta. So now if you find the components of this vector along the new x and y, it will not be same. Okay, they will not be same as that of initial components. Okay, so you can see x is increasing and y component is decreasing. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, no, can
Yes.
you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so x is increasing, the magnitude of x component is increasing. Okay, this length is small compared to this length, right? So the magnitude of x component is increasing, and the magnitude of y component, so which was this much earlier, now it is this much, it is decreasing. Okay, so magnitudes of components change, but the magnitude of vector will not change. The sum of x square plus y square. Okay, so x component square plus y component square is square of the length of this vector. So similarly, even if you rotate the coordinate axis, this new x component square plus new y component square will be equal to what? Square of the length of this vector. Okay, this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's why it's answer B. And then you can check C. Sum of a bar and b bar is r bar. if the magnitude of A bar alone is increased, the angle between B bar and R bar decreases. So does it decrease or increase? So we can check that. So see, I'm sorry. So this is your A bar. Let's call this much vector as A bar and this one as B bar. So what will be the resultant using the parallelogram law of vectors addition? I can say that this would be the resultant, right? This would be the resultant. And now it's given that what are you changing? You are changing the magnitude of A and you are increasing it. So if you increase the magnitude of A, so let's suppose your new A is this much. Okay, so now you can see what happens to the angle. Okay, so this was your R bar, this was your earlier R bar, and now your R bar becomes this. Okay, your R bar becomes this one if you increase A bar and keep B bar as it is. So R bar will change, right? So your R bar, new R bar is suppose R bar prime, and the angle between B bar and R bar decreases. So is it decreasing or increasing?
Increasing.
Increasing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right. So there is rule of thumb. If you increase a vector, there are two vectors, you increase one of them. Okay. So what will happen to the resultant? Resultant will be, it will bend towards the increased vector. Right. That means the angle between the resultant and the increased vector will decrease. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You can think of it as forces. Okay, so there are these two forces. Okay, this force is, let's say, some 3 newtons, this is 5 newtons. Resultant will be something like this. Now if you increase this one, so the resultant will bend along this increased vector, increased force, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
so that's why this is incorrect. Okay. All right, so cross product we didn't discuss till now. Cross product of 3i and 4j is 12. Is it 12? So do you know about cross product? Okay, so if I multiply two vectors, okay, the cross product is I, j, k, ax, ay, az, bx, by, bz. So do you know this thing?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now what is your a and b? So a is just 3i cap and b is 4j cap. So the the cross product of these two is 12, but
K
oh,
cap.
yeah, will be 12 k cap. Okay, that is the missing part. Yes, no?
Yes,
Sir.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if you know, that's good. If you don't know, still cross product is a vector product. Okay. So in simple language, it's a vector product. So resultant should be a vector. It should not be a scalar.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that is not true. So only one option is true. That's option B. Next question. If A bar is equal to B bar plus C bar, have scalar magnitudes of 5, 4, 3. So A bar's magnitude is 5, B bar's magnitude is 4, C bar's magnitude is 3. Then the angle between A and C is, who can tell me? A bar is equal to B bar plus C bar have scalar magnitudes 5, 4, 3. Okay, so 3 square plus 4 square is 5 square, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so these
Yes, sir.
three they form a right angle triangle. Okay, so this is suppose your B bar, this is your C bar, Okay, magnitude of B bar is 4 units, magnitude of C bar is 3 units. So 3 square plus 4 square is 5 square. So the resultant will have magnitude equals to 5. This is A bar. Okay, and then what is angle between A bar and C bar? So this is the angle. So tell me. So length of this side is 3, length of this side is 4, right? Length of this side is 5. So this is the angle theta. So what is sine theta and what is cos theta? Can you tell me? Cos theta is
3 by 5.
3 by 5 and sine theta is
4 by 5.
4 by 5. So theta equals to cos inverse of 3 by 5. Okay, so is there such an option? Yes, option A, right?
Option D also there, sir.
So it is cos inverse of 4 by 5. Yeah, option D you said. Oh, yes, option D is also correct. It is sine inverse of 4 by 5. Okay, so theta is sine inverse of 4 by 5. So maybe this can be what do we say? Two options correct, more than one option is correct kind of question, right? So let's move on to the next question. If I'm sorry, if vectors, this vector and this vector are equal vectors, then value of A is, this is extremely simple.
-5.
Yeah, must be. Compare this and this. Okay, they are equal.
Yes, sir.
So phi equals to minus A. Okay, x component should be equal to x component, y component should be equal to y component, z component is equal to z component. So minus A is equal to 5. So A equals to minus 5. Which is this exam? Okay, it has got 5 options. So next question. If A bar plus B bar equals to C bar and A plus B is equal to C, then the angle included between A and B is. Now you should tell me this. You should tell the answer. We discussed this yesterday. A bar plus B bar is equal to C bar, and A plus B, the magnitude of A bar and magnitude of B bar, if you add them, you get magnitude of the resultant.
So 0.
Should be 0. Okay, 0 is the answer.
Yes, sir.
Right, we discussed this kind of question yesterday.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Next question. Three forces. A bar is equal to I cap plus J cap plus K cap. B bar is equal to this and C bar acting on body. To keep it in equilibrium, then C is. Okay. So do you know what is equilibrium? Equilibrium of forces. If some body is in equilibrium, that means sum of all the forces acting on that body is 0. Right? So body is in equilibrium means sum of all the forces acting on the body is equal to 0. So A bar plus B bar plus C bar is equal to 0 and you want C bar. So C bar is equal to what? If you take A bar plus B bar on other side, you get minus of A bar plus B bar. Okay, so just substitute A bar and B bar. What is that? I plus J plus K plus 2I minus J plus 3K. What is the answer? It is I plus 2I, 3I, J minus, sorry, it gets cancelled, and 3I plus 4K. So minus 3I minus 4K. This should be the answer.
Option A.
Option A. Option A is the answer. Okay, simple question. Next question. If vectors given below, the parallel vectors are out of, okay, of the vectors given below, the parallel vectors are. So these are vectors a bar, b bar, c bar and d bar. So can you tell how to check whether two vectors are parallel? I'm sorry. How to check whether two vectors are parallel? See, you have a vector, okay, this vector, and you have another vector, okay. So suppose this is a bar and this is b bar, okay. So can I say b bar is equal to, okay, can I say b bar is equal to some constant, let's call it k, multiplied by a bar? Can I write like
Yes,
this?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes,
because
sir.
if I multiply a bar with suppose 2, I will get vector whose length is this much and it is directed in this direction. Okay, if I multiply it with 2.2 or something, I will get this vector which is directed towards right. Okay, okay, and it has magnitude equal to this much, right? So the parallel vectors can be represented as what? Some constant multiplied by other vector. Okay, if a and b are parallel, b can be written as some constant multiplied by a bar, and a bar can be written as some constant multiplied by b bar. Okay, so therefore what you can say is bx times I cap plus by times j cap plus bz times k cap is equal to that constant multiplied by ax times I cap plus ay times j cap plus az times k cap. Okay, and from here what do you get? So bx is equal to k times ax, by is equal to k times ay, and bz is equal to k times az. Or I can say bx upon ax is equal to by upon ay, and that is equal to bz upon az, and that's equal to k. Can I say this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so ratio of x to x component, y to y component, and z to z component will be equal. Okay, and that is some constant. So can we check now which of these vectors are parallel? We can check
Sir, option
B,
A.
sir.
option A,
B, sir.
Option B, sir.
option A or B. This is
B,
B,
okay,
sir.
B.
B, right. B is correct. B is A and C. Okay, this one and this one, this one and this one, right. And A is A and B, A and B. A and B are not in same direction because this has J cap. Okay, uh, Y component, and this one doesn't have Y component. So option B is the answer. So see, minimum number of unequal vectors which can give zero resultant are actually two. How? Suppose this is A bar, okay, this is A bar, and this is B bar, okay, this is B bar, sorry, not this one, okay, this is B bar, okay. So are you getting this? This is A bar, this is B bar. They have same magnitude, but they are opposite in direction. So are they equal vectors?
No, sir.
No, they are not equal. Okay, they have same magnitude, their length is same, but they are directed opposite to each other, so they are not equal vectors. So if you add A and B, what do you get? You will get 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so answer is 2 if they ask it like this. But if they say the minimum number of unequal vectors, okay, the minimum number of vectors having different magnitude, okay, which can give 0 resultant, then the answer would be B. Okay, 3. you will need 3 such vectors, right? If magnitude is not same, then you cannot add this one. Okay, so let's suppose you have this vector and this is your C bar. Okay, so this is your C bar. So can you add A bar and C bar, and is the answer 0?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No. Okay, so then you will need, even if they are in same straight line, okay, or they are parallel to each other, still you will need another vector. Okay, you will need another vector to make A bar plus C bar plus that another vector equal to 0. The addition of those 3 vectors will be 0, right? So minimum you need 3. So is it clear?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so now let's suppose you take vectors like this. This is your A bar. Okay, this is uh, B bar. Okay, so you have one vector which is like this, another vector which is like this. Now you want to make resultant of these two and some more vectors equal to 0. How many vectors will you need? Only one, right? And it should be directed like this. It should be directed from B to A. Okay, so you can understand it like this. Starting from this point going to this point, then from this point you are going to this point, and from this point you are returning back to the start point. Okay, so some of these 3 vectors will be equal to what? 0. Okay, so how many vectors you need? At least 3 vectors which are not equal in magnitude. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So,
All right, next question. There are n coplanar I'm sorry. There are n coplanar vectors, each of magnitude v. Each vector is inclined to the preceding vector at an angle of 2 pi by n. What is the magnitude of the resultant? So can you imagine this question? There are n coplanar vectors. What do you mean by coplanar? They are in same plane. Okay, they lie on the same plane, lie in a same plane. Okay, and there are n such vectors. N can be anything. It can be 2, it can be 3, 2 onwards. Okay, 2, 3, 4, 5, anything. Each vector is inclined to preceding vector at an angle of 2 pi by n. What is the magnitude of the resultant? Okay, so can we start with 2? Okay, let's start with 2. This is one vector. Okay, and I want 2 vectors. So magnitude of this one is v. Magnitude of next one will be equal to v. And now I have 2 pi divided by n. What is my n? If I am starting with the simplest case, n is equal to 2. Okay, so take n equals to 2. I will take 2 vectors. So 2 pi divided by 2 gives me pi. So pi radians is how many degrees? How many degrees? 180 degrees? Yes, no?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, 2 pi radians is 360 degrees. So pi radians is 180 degrees. That means the other vector I should draw is at an angle of 180 degrees with respect to this vector. So the other vector should be directed like this. Okay, so this is our start point. And length of these two vectors, the magnitude is equal. Okay, so what is resultant of these two? 0, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so resultant is 0. So see here they are saying you take n coplanar vectors. Okay, so if we can't imagine, we can draw a picture. Okay, so we should always start with simplest possible thing. And what is the simplest possible case here? It is n equals to 2, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so then you can take n equals to 3, 4, 5, anything. Okay, if you take n equals to 3, what do you get? You'll get 120 degrees, 120, because it's 2 pi divided by 3. Okay, so 120, 120, 120. So three vectors having same magnitude, okay, inclined at an angle of 120 degrees. So this is 120, 120, and third vector will be like this. Okay, so this is 120 degrees and this is 120 degrees, right? So will the resultant of these three equal to 0? Yes or no? Can you say? It's difficult to guess from here, from this diagram. So we can draw it like this. Okay, so see, this is first vector. The second vector is directed like this. Okay, and third vector will be directed like this. How? See, this first vector is directed along this straight line, okay, towards right. The second vector makes an angle of 120 degrees with respect to first vector. That means this angle would be 60 degrees. Okay, then this vector is directed like this. This third vector makes an angle of 120 degrees with respect to this vector. So this angle would be 60 degrees. So now if you take equal lengths and draw three lines at 60 degrees, you will arrive at the starting point, right? That means if you add these three vectors, the resultant will be equal to what? It will be 0.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, so 2 onwards. Okay, so exclude this case of 2. So 2 onwards, if n is equal to 3, 4, 5, anything, you will get a polygon. Okay, you will get a polygon. So how are the vectors in that polygon? They are aligned with respect to each other with this angle 2 pi divided by n. So what are you doing actually? You are dividing this total plane of 360 degrees in 2 pi divided by n angles. Okay, so if you do that and draw it like this, you will always get n-sided polygon. Okay, so you will always reach at the starting point. Okay, are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
Yes, sir.
answer of this will be
Yes, sir.
0. Okay, but we don't need to check 3, 4 and 5. Okay, you can check one more like this. So let's suppose this is what? This is first vector. Second vector is at 90 degrees with respect to first vector. How come? So if you take 4 vectors, it will be 2 pi divided by 4. That means pi by 2. Pi by 2 is 90 degrees. Okay, so first vector, this is second vector. Third vector will be like this. Okay, and fourth vector, if their lengths are equal, it will be like this. So you will arrive at the origin if all vectors are aligned. Okay, if angle between these vectors is 2 pi divided by n, right, you will always reach at the origin when you finish drawing the last vector. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is actually a mathematical rule, but it is difficult to think about mathematical rules in an exam. So what should we do? We should solve using simplest possible case. So this is the simplest possible case. Okay, this thing is clear.
Yes, sir.
How to approach this kind of question, because n can take various values, but whatever answer you get for your simplest possible case, it will be applicable to all the cases. Let's see this problem. This is from NEET 2017. The x and y coordinates of a particle at any time are x equals to 5t minus 2t square and y equals to 10t respectively, where x and y are in meters and t in seconds. The acceleration of the particle at t equals to 2 seconds is. So what should we do?
First dx by dt.
Okay, so let's find dx, which is dx by dt, d by dt of x. Okay, so that is d by dt of,
5 minus 4t.
okay, so it is d by dt of this thing 5t minus 2t square, and it is 5 minus 4t, right? Okay, meters per second. Then acceleration in x direction is equal to dvx by dt, and that will give you what? If you take the derivative of this,
Minus 4.
it will give you minus 4. Okay, so minus 4 meter per second square. This is acceleration in x direction. What about acceleration in y direction? So for that, first find out vy. Vy equals to dy by dt, and that is d by dt of 10t. So it's 10. Vy equals to 10 meters per second. So it is constant. That means there is no acceleration in y direction. So ay is dvy by dt, dvy by dt, and it's equal to 0 meters per second square. So how much would be the net acceleration?
-4.
It will be minus 4, right? There is acceleration in x direction only, no acceleration in y direction. So the answer is minus 4. Very simple, right? Next question. A particle is moving such that its position coordinates x, y are 2 meters, 3 meters at time t equals to 0, 6 meters, 7 meters at time t equals to 2 seconds, and 13 meters, 14 meters at time t equals to 5 seconds. The average velocity vector from t equals to 0 to t equals to 5 seconds is. Tell me. See, you want the average velocity vector from t equals to 0 to t equals to 5 seconds. So you will pick the coordinates at t equals to 0 and t equals to 5 seconds. So these are the coordinates. So x0 equals to 2 meters, y0 equals to 3 meters, right? These are the coordinates. Then x at 5 equals to 13 meters, y at 5 equals to 14 meters. So 13 meters, y at 5 equals to 14 meters. And now you can find out average velocity. So average velocity is equal to average velocity in x direction into I cap plus average velocity in y direction multiplied by j cap, which is, you can say it is x at 5 minus x at 0 divided by the time difference. Time difference is 5 times I cap plus y at 5 minus y at 0 divided by 5 multiplied by j cap. Okay, so now you substitute the values. So what are the values? 13 minus 2 divided by 5 I cap plus, this is 14 minus 3 divided by 5 times j cap. So 11 by 5. Okay, and 11 by 5. So it is 11 by 5 I cap plus j cap. Right? So let's move on to next problem. A body is moving with velocity 30 meters per second towards east. After 10 seconds, its velocity becomes 40 meters per second towards north. the average acceleration of the body is. We want to find out average acceleration. So body is moving with 30 meters per second. So let's draw east, west, north, south. Okay, so body is moving towards east with some velocity. How much? It's 30 meters per second. After some time, after 10 seconds, its velocity is 40 meters per second. So it is this much. Okay, towards north, right? Towards north, it is 40 meters per second. So you can say initial velocity V naught is equal to 30 I cap meters per second, right? East is towards right. Okay, in positive x direction you can say, and this is north. So velocity at some time t, so this will be a vector, it is 40 j cap meters per second. So what will be acceleration? So acceleration, velocity at time t minus velocity at the beginning divided by time. Okay, so that is 40 j cap minus 30 I cap divided by how much is time? 10. So 4 minus 3. Okay, so acceleration is equal to minus 3 I cap plus 4 j cap, right? So this is the answer. Okay, and you want magnitude, so how much would be that? So A is equal to
5 meter per second square.
right, it will be 5 meters per second square. So square root of minus 3 square plus 4 square, 5 meters per second square. This is the answer. Option D. Simple problem, right? Okay, next question. A particle starting from origin 0, 0 moves in a straight line in xy plane. Its coordinates at latter time are square root of 3, 3. The path of the particle makes with the x-axis an angle of So how to solve this? This is very simple, right? It starts from the origin. Okay, it starts from origin. So I can draw this. Starts from origin. So this is your starting point, and after some time it reaches the square root of 3, 3. Okay, so square root 3 and 3 somewhere here. Okay, so this is your graph like this. So this will be the point root 3, 3. Okay, so now can you tell me how to find out the angle?
So tan theta.
Tan theta. Okay, so this is your
60
angle.
degrees.
60 degrees. Okay, so tan of
Yes, sir.
theta equals to this distance divided by this distance. So it is 3 divided by root 3. Okay, so it will be root 3. So theta should be tan inverse of root 3, that is 60 degrees. Good. Okay, good. Next question. A bus is moving on a straight road towards north with uniform speed of 50 kilometers per hour. Then it turns left through 90 degrees. So it was moving towards north and then it turns left. Okay, through 90 degrees. Turns left through 90 degrees. If the speed remains unchanged after turning, the increase in the velocity of bus in the turning process is. Yes, can you tell me? So bus was moving like this due north and it takes a turn like this. Starts moving towards left. So what is that? Towards west, you can say. Okay. So this is your initial velocity Vi or V naught, and this is your final velocity Vf. The magnitude of both of them is equal. So how to find change in velocity? So just draw a vector like this, right? Just draw a vector from starting velocity or initial velocity to final velocity. Okay, so this plus this will give you this. Okay, so this is your change in velocity, and this is direction of change in velocity. Same will be the direction of acceleration. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
And what is magnitude? Magnitude of this. Okay, question is increase in velocity only. Okay, not the acceleration. So we have to find out the magnitude of this only, the change in velocity or increase in velocity, and its direction also. So what is this direction? It is this direction, right? So if I draw east, west, north, south, which direction is this? Southwest.
Southwest.
Okay, southwest direction. So so change in velocity is in southwest direction, or how much is its magnitude? So there is only one option actually with southwest, so this must be the magnitude, right? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you can check it. It will be, so this is 50 kilometers per hour in magnitude, and this is also, because magnitude is not changing, so 50 kilometer per hour. So change in velocity has a magnitude. It will be 50 square plus 50 square in square root. Okay, so square root of 50 square plus 50 square, and that is, you can take 10 outside. Okay, so it will be square root of 5 square plus 5 square, 50, right? So 10 multiplied by square root of 50, so about 7 point something. Okay, so 7 times 10, 70 point something, right? Yeah, so 70.7 kilometers per hour. This is the answer. Next question is, when an object is shot from the bottom of a long smooth inclined plane kept at an angle of 60 degrees with the horizontal, it can travel distance x1 along the plane, but when the inclination is decreased to 30 degree and the same object is shot with the same velocity, it can travel x2 distance. Then x1 is to x2 will be. So you have, object is shot from bottom of a long smooth inclined plane kept at an angle of 60 degrees. So we have long smooth inclined plane at an angle of 60 degrees. So like this, and you are shooting an object from the bottom. Okay, from here with some initial velocity. Okay, with some initial velocity. Let's call it u. So it reaches some till some distance and it stops. So suppose it reaches this much distance. So this is this much distance from here to here is x1. So this much distance is x1. And you take another plane. Another plane is like this. It is inclined at 30 degree. So this is 60 degrees. This is 30 degrees. Okay, so suppose this is theta 1 and this is theta 2 equals to 30 degrees. And now you are shooting same object with same initial velocity on this plane. So it reaches till some distance. So this distance is x2. And you want to find the ratio of x1 is to x2. So what should we do? Okay, there will be some acceleration, right? What is the acceleration acting on that object? There is acceleration due to gravity. Okay, so acceleration due to gravity is equal to g, okay, but that acceleration, it is acting downwards, not along the plane. So what you can do is, so this is your g, you can resolve this g in two perpendicular components. Okay, so we'll resolve the g along two perpendicular components like this. Okay, like this. So this angle is theta, theta 1. How much would be this angle? This angle
90 minus theta.
90 minus theta, and therefore this angle would be theta 1. This angle is theta 1. So now I am resolving g. Okay, so it will have these two components. So this component, this component, and this component. So one is along the plane and one is perpendicular to plane. So this component which is perpendicular to plane, it is g cos theta 1, and this one will be g sin theta 1. Right? Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And similarly here, you can resolve this one along two perpendicular components. So this will be g sin theta 2, and this is g cos theta 2. You see, motion of this object is like this, and g sin theta 1, the acceleration in direction of motion, actually it is in opposite direction of motion. So we'll take it as negative, right? So for first object, you can say that v square, okay, because at this position its velocity will be 0. So you can say v1 square equals to u1 square plus 2 times a1 into x1, okay, because distance is given as x1. Okay, so v1 is equal to 0, so you get u1 square plus, actually it is in opposite direction, so I will take negative sign, so minus of 2 g sin theta 1 multiplied by x1, and therefore you get the relation between u and x. So what is that relation? So u1 square is 2 times g sin theta 1 x1. Okay, same thing you can do with second object. So you will get u2 square equals to 2g sin theta 2 x2. Okay, and then you can take the ratio of these two. So it's given that u1 is equal to u2, right? It is short with same velocity, so u1 is equal to u2. Okay, yes, no?
Yes, sir.
So left hand side will be equal to 1, then 2g and 2g gets cancelled out. So you can say, okay, this is equal to 1. If you take this x2 and x1 on left hand side, you get, or we want x1 or x1 is to x2, right? So we'll take sine theta 1 and sine theta 2 on other side. So x1 divided by x2 will be equal to sine theta 2 divided by sine theta 1, because this will go in numerator and this will go in denominator. So x1 is to x2 equals to sine of theta 2 divided by sine of theta 1. Okay, and what is theta 2 and theta 1? This is sine 30 divided by sine of 60 degrees, right, which is 1 by 2 divided by root 3 by 2, or 1 divided by root 3. This is the answer. Okay, so option D is the answer. But if you remember one thing which will be handy afterwards also, if your plane makes an angle theta, okay, makes an angle theta with the horizontal, then how much would be the acceleration of a body which is rolling or moving along the plane? It will be minus g sine theta. Yes, Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So if you
Yes,
just
sir.
remember this thing, you can directly write down this equation that v square equals to u square minus 2g sine theta into x1, and similarly for the second one. So no need to draw anything. Okay. So if you just remember this fact, okay, you can solve it little bit quicker in half time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please remember this. So this will be handy for this kind of problem, and there will be problems in laws of motion. Okay, in laws of motion also there will be lots of inclined planes. Okay, so let's move on to the next problem. A particle has initial velocity. This is initial velocity, and the acceleration is this one. Its speed after 10 seconds. This is very easy, right? So v is equal to u plus at. That is the formula. Okay, thank you. So this will be what? 3i plus 4j plus 0.4i plus 0.3j times the time, which is 10. So how much would be that? 4. Okay, this will be 4, this will be 3. So 3 plus 4 and 4 plus 3. So 7i plus 7j. So this is the velocity, and you want speed. So speed will be what? Square root of 49 plus 49, or it is 2 times 49. So square root of 49 is 7. 7 times root 2. So 7 times root 2 meters per second. This is the answer. Option B is the answer. Okay. Two boys are standing at the ends of A and B of a ground where AB is equal to A. So there are two boys standing at the ends. So this is A, this is B, and AB is equal to A. The boy at B starts running in a direction perpendicular to AB with velocity v1. So boy at B starts running like this with velocity v1. Okay, with velocity v1. Then the boy at A starts running simultaneously. At the same time, the boy at A starts running with velocity v. Okay, and catches the other in time t. So he will have to run like this. Yes, no. Okay, at some angle,
Yes, sir.
and if he wants to catch this boy, the other boy, then the y component, let's call this y and this as x. So the velocity of this boy who is at the position A, okay, it will have two components. So it is he is running with velocity v. Okay, so that velocity, this velocity is v, and we can resolve it along two components. So one should be equal to what? So this should be equal to Vy should be equal to V1, because in this direction this boy is running with velocity V1. So the y component of this boy, the first boy, okay, who is at A, it should be at least that much, right? Yes, no. If he wants to catch the other boy,
Yes, sir.
the
Yes,
x
sir.
component can be anything. Okay, if x component is less, if this is infinite ground, x component is less, he will take more time, okay, to cover this much distance. But y component must be equal, okay, if he wants to catch this other boy, because this boy is running in y direction only. Okay, so Vx is something, sorry, Vx is something we don't know. Okay, so now we can put this y component is equal to what? V1. So yes, this is V, okay, this is Vx, and this much distance is V1. So we can say we want to find out Vx, okay, because we want to find out and how much time he will cover this much x distance. Okay, this much distance in x direction. So we can say that v square is equal to v1 square plus vx square, and therefore vx square is equal to v square minus v1 square. So whenever he catches the other boy, so distance covered in x direction would be equal to what? It will be equal to a, right? So how much would be the time? So we can say the time in which he catches the other boy will be equal to a divided by vx. That is a divided by this thing, v square minus v1 square. So option,
D.
okay, option D. Yeah, there is a square here, right? So you can take its
Yes,
square root.
sir.
Okay, so option D is the answer. So is this question clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so out of all of the questions, this was good, right? Okay, next question. Two particles A and B are connected by a rigid rod AB. So these are particles, two particles, they are connected by rigid rod. The rod slides along sorry, the rod slides along perpendicular rails as shown. So these are perpendicular rails. So okay, the rod slides along perpendicular rails as shown here. The velocity of A to the left is 10 meters per second. So this end is moving towards left with the velocity of 10 meters per second. What is the velocity of B when angle alpha is equal to 60 degrees? So what will be velocity of B when the angle is 60 degrees? Yes. So here you can say that this is your x direction, this is your y direction. Okay, this is your x direction, and now the y and x are changing. So y is increasing, x is decreasing, and both are related. So you can take dy by dx, right? Dy by dx. Okay, so dy by dx will give you tan theta. Okay, it will be tan theta. So this is clear till this point,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
and both of these changes will happen in same time. Okay, both of the changes will happen in same time. Yes, no, because in the time
Yes, sir.
this point moves by distance dx. Okay, this point will move by distance dy. Okay, because the rod is connected, so you can divide it by time. You can take dy by dt divided by dx by dt. That will be your tan theta, and this is your dy by dt is velocity in y direction, dx by dt is velocity in x direction, and this is equal to tan of not theta, this angle is alpha, anyways, but it is equal to 60 degrees. Okay, so Vy is equal to tan of 60 degrees because we are given with the velocity in x direction, right? So Vy equals to tan of 60 degrees multiplied by Vx. Okay, right? So what is tan of 60?
Root 3.
So root 3 multiplied by what is dx? Sorry, Vx?
10.
10. So root 3 multiplied by 10. So how much is value of root 3?
Option 1.73.
1.73.
Okay, 1.73 multiplied by 10. So 17.3 meters per second is the answer. This is Vy. Okay, so option D is the answer. So you got the question. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So let's see this next question then. Rain is falling vertically downwards with the velocity of 4 kilometers per hour. Man walks in rain. Okay, this is a question from NCERT, if you know. Okay, man walks in rain. I guess there was old woman in NCERT. They have replaced it with man with a velocity of 3 kilometers per hour. The raindrops will fall on the man with the velocity of. Okay, this is simple. This anybody can do, right? The rain is falling vertically downwards. So rain is falling vertically downwards, okay, with some speed, whatever is speed. This is velocity of rain, and man walks in the rain with velocity of 3 kilometers per hour. So suppose man is walking like this. Okay, man is walking like this. So this is velocity of man. Now the raindrops will fall on the man with the velocity of. So now man is in motion, rain is also in motion. So you want to find the speed of raindrops. Okay, velocity of raindrops with respect to man. Yes, no? Okay, so raindrops will fall
Yes.
on the man with the velocity of rain with respect to man, which is velocity of rain minus velocity of man, right? So you have drawn velocity of man. You have to draw this picture. This is minus Vm. Okay, or directly if you want to do, this is velocity of man. Velocity of man plus this thing. Okay, plus which thing? Plus this vector. Plus this vector. Okay, this will be vrm. Velocity of man plus this is equal to velocity of rain. Okay, and therefore you can say vrm is equal to what? Velocity of rain minus velocity of man. Can you say that?
Yes, sir.
Okay, apply the triangle law. This plus this is equal to this. So this is what? This minus this. Okay, and then you just want the magnitude. So it is minus or plus. They are at 90 degrees with respect to each other, right? So how much would be the magnitude of this vector? So magnitude of vrm is square root of vr square plus vm square. Okay, so that is 4 square plus 3 square. Okay, that is 5. 16 plus 9, square root of that 25. Okay, so square root of 25, 5 kilometers per hour. This is the answer. Simple. Two bullets are fired horizontally and simultaneously towards each other from rooftops of two buildings 100 meters apart. So we have two buildings 100 meters apart. This is building 1, this is building 2, and two bullets are fired like this. One bullet is fired like this, another bullet is fired like this horizontally. Okay, and this distance, horizontal distance, is how much? 100 meters. Of same height of 200 meters. So this height of both the buildings is 200 meters. Okay, with same velocity 25 meters per second, and bullets are fired with the velocity of 25 meters per second. So v is equal to 25, and v for this is also equal to 25 meters per second. So let's call it va. This is vv. Okay, when and where will the two bullets collide? Okay, how much is the distance between the bullets? See, what path will they follow? Their path will be projectile motion. Okay, so this bullet, it will follow, first bullet will follow this kind of path, right? If you throw something like this, it will follow this kind of path. Okay, if you throw something in horizontal direction, it follows this kind of path. Okay, a parabolic path, and this one also follows a parabolic path. They will reach at this point. Okay, so how much would be the distance covered by these two bullets? Okay, this is also thrown from this point. Okay, so they are at distance of 100 meters from each other. Okay, with respect to each other. So the relative distance covered by them, if you think in terms of first bullet, so relative distance covered by bullet A with respect to B will be how much? relative distance to be covered is 100 meters. What will be relative velocity? It is 25 minus 25, 50. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Getting this or not? Both are coming
Yes,
towards
sir.
each other, no? So, see, S is equal to, now VA would be positive, VB would be negative because it's moving towards left. Okay, so it is VA minus VB multiplied by T. Okay, and it is 25 minus 25, that is 50 multiplied by T. This is 100, so T equals to, it is 100 divided by 50, 2 seconds. So two bullets will strike each other. They will strike at this point, but at what time? T equals to 2 seconds. Okay, so how much vertical distance will they move? Will they cover? So see, horizontal movement and vertical movement. The motion in horizontal direction and motion in vertical direction, they are separated. Okay, so initially both of the bullets don't have any velocity in vertical direction. Okay, there is no velocity in vertical direction. They are fired horizontally, and we know that there is acceleration in vertical direction. So we can use this formula for distance covered in y direction. Let's suppose this much is the displacement in y direction. Okay, this much is the displacement in y direction. Let's call it Sy. How much would be Sy? Sy is equal to, it is equal to uy times t minus half of gt square, and uy is equal to 0. They are fired in x direction. Okay, so it is minus half of gt square. Okay, or if we just want to find out the magnitude, let's keep plus half. Okay, so uy is 0, this thing will be 0. It is half of gt square, so half of 10. Okay, g is given as 10. Even if it is not given, we'll take it as 10 for simplicity. So this is 10 by 2 is 5. 5 times 4, 20.
20 meters.
Yes. So what's the answer?
Option B.
B, sir.
It is option A. See how they cover that much distance, but you want their height. Okay, earlier they were at the height of 200 meters. Now they have fallen through the height of 20 meters. Okay, so they are still at the height of how much? 200 minus 20.
180 meters.
Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, so what's the answer? Option A is the answer. Okay, this is an assertion and reasoning type of question. So the maximum height of projectile is always 25% of maximum range. Okay, maximum height of projectile is always 25% of maximum range. This is true or false?
True.
True, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
we
sir.
found that. Okay, maximum height is equal to 1/4 of maximum range. 1/4 means 25%. So for maximum range, projectile should be projected at 90 degrees. This is true or false? This is the reason.
False.
False.
This is false. Good. So which of the options is correct?
C.
Sir.
Assertion is correct, but reason is incorrect. Right. So what should be the reason? Correct reason,
Projected at 45 degrees.
projected at 45 degrees. Good. Next one. So what is the range of projectile thrown with velocity 98 meters per second with angle of 30 degree from horizontal? This is very simple, right? So just the formula for range is u square sine 2 theta divided by g. Okay, so 98 square multiplied by sine of 2 theta, okay, sine of 60 degrees divided by g. How much is g? Well, let's suppose it is 10. Okay, so 98 square, or no need to take 10, no, we have 98 in numerator, so 9.8. Okay, so sine 60 is root 3 by 2.
Option
Which option?
A, sir.
Option A, right. So it is 98 multiplied by 98 divided by 9.8. So this will be 10. 10 by 2 is 5. 5 times 98 will be 490. Okay, and 490 root 3 is the answer. Option A. Assertion and reasoning type of question. So when theta equals to 45 or 135, the value of r remains the same. Only the sign changes. Okay, only the sign changes. Okay, I forgot to tell you one thing. So what is r? It is u square sine 2 theta divided by g, right? So it is u square sine of, now see, this is an angle theta, and suppose this is an angle alpha. Okay, and alpha is 90 minus theta. Alpha is suppose 90 minus theta. Okay, so a projectile thrown at theta and projectile thrown at alpha, they will have same range.
Yes, sir.
Why?
Yes, sir.
Because this is 2 times sine theta cos theta upon g. Okay, and for projectile which is thrown at alpha, it will be 2u square, okay, sine alpha cos alpha divided by g. And why so? So projectile thrown at angle theta and projectile which is thrown at angle of 90 90 minus theta will have same range. Okay, because sine of 90 minus theta is how much? Is what?
Cos theta.
Cos theta. And what is cos of 90 minus theta?
Cos theta.
Cos of 90 minus theta? It is cos A cos B cos 90 cos theta plus sin 90 sin theta. Is this formula correct? Cos 90 is 0, so this is 0. So it is sin 90 is 1, it is sin theta.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and what is, let's check this thing also. Sin of 90 minus theta is sin 90 cos theta. Yes, this is cos of theta. Okay, minus cos 90, yeah, minus cos 90 sin theta. Okay, so sin of 90 minus theta is cos theta and cos of 90 minus theta is sin theta. Okay, so this is alpha is 90 minus theta. So sin of alpha is equal to cos theta. Cos of alpha is sin theta. Okay, so this will be equal to what? Sin alpha cos alpha is equal to what? Sin theta cos theta. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And that's why they will have the same range. Okay, a projectile which is thrown at theta with horizontal, or which is thrown at which is thrown at what? 2 theta, not 2 theta, 90 minus theta with horizontal will have same range. Okay, this is clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so please add this point to your notes. Okay, for quick answer. Sometimes there can be a question. A projectile is thrown at 30 degrees, okay, with such and such velocity. A projectile is thrown at 60 degrees with some velocity. Okay, so first one goes till 100 meters. Next one will go till what? We don't need to calculate. It will go till 100 meters. When theta is 45 or 135, the value of r remains same. The only sign changes. Okay. So this is like common sense. Theta is 45. Okay. And theta is 135. 135 will be in just opposite direction. Okay. So range will remain same. Okay. So this angle will be 45 then, if you throw it at 135. So range will remain same. Only
Both are correct.
both are correct.
Both are correct, sir.
Both are
Right.
correct, sir.
So which is the answer? Option A, right? If the angle of projection of a projector with same initial velocity exceed or fall short of 45 by equal amount alpha. Okay, angle of projection of projector with same initial velocity exceed or fall short of 45 by equal amount alpha, then the ratio of horizontal ranges is. Okay, who can tell me what to do? What's given in the question? Projectile, this is 45 degrees. Okay, angle of projection, this is suppose theta. It is either 45 minus alpha, falls short of alpha, or it is 45 plus alpha, exceeds or falls short of 45 by equal amount alpha, then the ratio of horizontal ranges is. Okay, let's try to solve this. So let's say first angle is theta 1 and the second one is theta 2. So theta 1 is 45 plus alpha, theta 2 is 45 minus alpha. Got this?
Yes.
Okay, so what will be range? Range is just directly proportional to what? Sine of 2 theta. Okay, so r1 is to r2 because they are projected with same initial velocity. Okay, r is equal to what? U square sine 2 theta divided by g. U is same, g is same, so it depends on, okay, that's 2 theta. It depends on what? Theta only. Okay, so r1 upon r2, I can say r1 upon r2 because it's proportional to sine theta, sine 2 theta. It is sine 2 theta 1 upon sine 2 theta 2. Can I write this?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
no need to write complete formula. So this is sine of 45 plus alpha, and this is sine of 45 minus alpha. Okay, so now tell me. Oh no, it will be 2 times that, right? It will be 2 times that. Okay, it is 2 theta 1, 2 theta 2. This will be sine of 90 plus 2 alpha, 90 minus 2 alpha, right? 90 plus 2 alpha.
Yes, sir.
This will be 90 minus 2 alpha. Okay, and now what is sine of 90 plus 2 alpha? It will be cos of 2 alpha. Sine of 90 minus 2 alpha, it is also cos of 2 alpha. Okay, sine of 90 plus an angle, 90 minus an angle is cos of an angle. You know this or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you know, very good. So this will be cos of 2 alpha, cos of 2 alpha. Okay, that's equal to 1. And if you don't know, you can always verify. But we have to do quick work. Okay, so we should remember this formula. The sine of 90 plus 2 alpha, it is sine of a plus b sine a cos b, sine 90 cos 2 alpha plus cos 90 sine 2 alpha. Okay, and cos 90 is 0, sine 90 is 1. So this is 1, this is 0. So second term vanishes. Okay, so it is cos of 2 alpha. And sine of 90 minus 2 alpha, it is sine 90 cos 2 alpha minus cos 90 sine 2 alpha. So second term will vanish. Okay, this will vanish, right? So this is also cos 2 alpha, this is also cos 2 alpha. So sine of 90 plus something is cos of that thing, and sine of 90 minus something is also cos of that thing. Okay, that angle. This is clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So better we remember this, because yeah, this can be done quickly, but will still take some time. Okay. And second thing is, so when we have direct proportionality, so R is equal to what? U square sine 2 theta divided by G. Okay, so we should not write the whole formula and everything. Okay, just directly, because velocity is equal. So R1 by R2 will be sine 2 theta divided by, sorry, sine 2 theta 1 upon sine 2 theta 2. Okay, we have to increase speed, right? You got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so next question. For an object, okay, they they just love 45 degrees. For an object thrown at 45 degree to the horizontal, the maximum height h and horizontal range are related as. Tell me.
R is equal to 4h.
R is equal to 4h. Okay, this is from UKPMT. Okay, a body is projected horizontally from top of tower with velocity of 10 meters per second. Okay, if it hits the ground at an angle of 45 degrees, then the vertical component of velocity when it hits the ground is. Okay, this is extremely simple. See, it is projected horizontally like this. Okay, so it will follow this kind of path. So initially its velocity is just in horizontal direction. This is ux, and how much is ux? 10 meters per second. Now when it hits the ground, when it reaches the ground, tell me at this point how much would be horizontal velocity and how much would be vertical velocity. So horizontal velocity, does it change?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. Okay, so it is Vx is equal to 10 meters per second. It is constant, and they are telling that it hits the ground at 45 degrees. So this angle is 45. This angle is 45. So if this angle is 45, then how much would be Vy? This is Vy. Okay, or in this triangle, this is Vy, and this is 45.
Tan 45 is equal.
Yeah, but if you have 45 degrees, then these two sides of triangle are equal, right?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
10 meter per
10,
second.
10 meters per second is
10.
answer. Okay, we can do all that. Okay, Vy upon Vx is equal to tan of 45. Okay, so Vy is equal to tan 45 multiplied by Vx. Tan 45 is 1, and therefore Vy is equal to Vx. Okay, but before doing all that, we can easily guess the answer. If this is 45, then x component and y component of velocity are equal.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so answer is D. The body is projected with an angle theta. The maximum height reached is h if the time of flight is 4 seconds and g is 10 meters per second square. Then the value of h is. Time of flight is given and maximum height is asked. How to do this? So h is equal to what? U square sine square theta upon 2g. Okay, time of flight is 2u sine theta upon g. Time of flight is given. This is 4. 4 is equal to 2u sine theta divided by g. Okay, so now can I substitute? So 2u sine theta. Okay, so from that I can substitute u sine theta is equal to 4g divided by 2. Okay, I will take g on this side, 2 on this side. So g goes to numerator, 2 goes to denominator. So u sine theta is 4g divided by 2. Substitute that. So you get h is equal to, okay, what? 4g upon 2 square divided by 2g. So it is 6. Okay, 4g divided by 2. It is 2g only, right? This is 2g only. Okay, so it is 2g square. Okay, 2g square divided by 2g. So that is 2g only, 2 times g. So how much?
20 meter.
20 meters. 20 meters is the answer. Simple.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next one. So we have to do these kind of adjustments. Okay. So here t is given. So from that you can find out this unknown thing, u sine theta. All right. Next question. Next question. The velocity of projectile at initial point A is this thing. Its velocity at point B is, you tell me. What happens? X component remains same, Y component gets reversed.
2i minus
Option.
3g.
Option C, sir.
Option C, good. So X component remains same, Y component gets reversed. 2i minus 3j is the answer. Okay, very simple. Next one. An aeroplane is flying horizontally with a velocity of 600 kilometers per hour and at a height of 1960 meters. When it is vertically above a point A on the ground, a bomb is released. Okay, so aeroplane is there. Aeroplane is there. Okay, at height of 1960 meters. At this much height, and it's moving horizontally. It is moving horizontally with 600 kilometers per hour. Okay, so its horizontal speed is Vx is 600 kilometers per hour. Okay, and a packet is thrown. Packet is thrown. Not packet is thrown. A bomb is released. Okay, a bomb is released from it. The bomb strikes the ground at point B. If it strikes at point B, it will follow trajectory like this. Okay, so the bomb will follow trajectory like this. It will fall here. The distance AB is, how much would be the distance AB? This is the question, right? So see, this height is given. How much is h? 1960. Okay, so h is 1960. Okay, so you can find out the time taken by it. You can find out time taken by it to fall on the ground. Yes, no?
Yes, sir.
Using
Yes,
which
sir.
formula? Using which formula? H is equal to half of gt square, because it has no velocity in y direction. So if you throw a bomb, then velocity in y direction is 0. Okay, it will hit the ground at some time t. So the distance covered in y direction is h. H is equal to uy times t minus, actually you will take it as plus, because okay, you are considering this direction to be positive. So uy times t plus half of gt square. Okay, and ui is 0. So it is half of gt square only, right? So you can find out time
Yes, sir.
from this. So it is t is equal to what? 2h divided by g, square root of 2h upon g. So you can directly remember this formula too. Okay, the square root of 2h upon g, right? So let's substitute the values. So it is 2 times 1960 is the height divided by g. G is 10, or take 9.8. So this thing will get cancelled. 196 times 2. Okay. Yeah, close to 400.
392.
Okay, 392. Square root of that will be close to 20.
Yes,
Square root
sir.
of 400 will be, square root of 400 is 20. We have 392. It's close to 20, right? And then you can find out this distance, the horizontal distance. Okay, so for horizontal distance, how will you find horizontal distance? Let's call it r. Okay, let's call it r. So r will be equal to what? It is Vx multiplied by this time, right? So it is 600 kilometers per hour, and everything is given in kilometers. So we have to convert this time into hours. Okay, so it is 600 multiplied by, how do we convert it in hours? How to convert from hours to seconds?
3600 multiplied.
Multiply. Okay, so from seconds to hours, you will
Divide by 3000.
Divided by 3000.
3600. Okay, so this thing will get cancelled, and so you have 36 by 6 is 6. Okay, and 20 divided by 6 is how much? 20 divided by 6 is 10 by 3, 3.33. Okay, so this horizontal range is 3.33 kilometers. So bomb strikes the ground at point B. The distance, okay, this is above the point A. So this is your point A, right? So this is point B. Okay, so this is the answer, 3.33. I thought this point is A. Clear this? This is clear?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, good. So next question. An arrow is shot in air. Its range is 200 meters and its time of flight is 5 seconds. Range is given, time of flight is given. G is equal to 10 meters per second, and horizontal component of velocity of arrow is. Okay. So range is given. What is formula for range? It is u square sine 2 theta divided by g. Okay. And time of flight, t is equal to, what is time of flight? It's 2u sine theta divided by g. Okay. So that is given. So now you want horizontal component of velocity. So this can be written as u sine 2 theta can be written as 2 times u sine theta cos theta divided by g. Okay, because range is given and time of flight is given. So can you write range in terms of time of flight? Yes, we can write. This is 2u sine theta. Oh no, one u is missing, right? 2u square. Okay, I missed the square, but it's good. Okay, so this can be written as this thing. Okay, 2u sine theta multiplied by u cos theta upon g, and this thing is time of flight. Okay, so r is equal to time of flight multiplied by u cos theta, and you want the horizontal component of velocity. So it's simple, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
it is ux. So ux is equal to u cos theta, which is r by t. R is 200, T is 5. So 40 meters per second is the answer. Option
Yes,
D
sir.
is the answer. Okay, this is simple. All right. This one, horizontal range and maximum height of projectile are equal. Okay, this is different question. The angle of projection of projectile is. So they are saying horizontal range R is equal to H. So U square sine 2 theta upon G is equal to H, which is U square sine square theta divided by 2G. And we want the angle theta. So U square gets cancelled, G cancelled. Okay, so sine 2 theta is sine square theta upon 2. And this can be written as 2 sine theta cos theta is equal to sine square theta divided by 2. So this thing gets cancelled with this thing. So you take 2 on this side, cos theta on other side. So you get what? Sine theta upon cos theta is 4. So 4 is equal to tan theta. And therefore theta is tan inverse of 4. It is the answer. Option B. Okay, simple question.
Yes, sir.
Right, if you know the formula, the questions on projectile motion are like this. Know the formula, it's simple. If you don't know, it's difficult.